Hello, everyone. Welcome to My Story 100. My name is Frema, and today I continue Yeah, Still Here. Chapter 3 is titled Slipping Through the Cracks. The first night on the street were the hardest. Accra did not sleep. Even after midnight, the city hummed with the restless sound of distant tro-tros, the hiss of frying oil from roadside food sellers, and the low voice of men huddling in the corners. The street lights buzzed, casting an uneven pole of light that stretched and bent across cracked pavements. Ya quickly learned that sleep was never deep here. You closed your eyes, but one ear stayed open, listening to footsteps. For the scrap of shoes too close, for the voice calling your name that didn't sound like kindness. She found her way to the Kaneshie tro-tros station, where dozens of other children like her sleeps, on a cardboard, on sacks, sometimes just on the bare concrete. The station was a world of its own. In the day, it was chaos. Buses honking, mates shouting distances, women balancing bowl of bananas or roasted granules on their heads. But at night, it became something else, a fragile camp of the forgotten. Food came from what she could beg or what was left behind when the traders packed up. Some nights she got lucky, a bag of curry, a banana, a few CDs from a driver feeling generous. Other nights she went to sleep with nothing but water in her stomach. But hunger was not the greatest danger. The older boys had their gangs, the older men had their eyes. The street was not kind to girls. Offer of food or shelter often came with a price, and for a child alone, the price was unthinkable, but sometimes unavoidable. At first, Ya ran when the men approached. She hid behind tro-tros or slipped into the shadows until they passed. But the longer she stayed, the more she understood that survival sometimes meant enduring the things she hated just to see another day. The other children told her the rules. Never accept food without knowing what they wanted in return. Sleep in group if you can. Alone is dangerous. Don't trust a smile you haven't seen before. Still, danger had a way of finding her. There were nights when the older men would corner her, their breath heavy with alcohol, their words dripping with promises of bread or a bed. She had nowhere to run and nowhere to hide for long. The fear lived inside her like a second heartbeat. When she was 10 years old, she decided to try something different. She began collecting the few coins she managed to beg, hiding them carefully in a folded cloth. One afternoon at the station, she overheard a man talking about loading a car heading to Wa. Her heart leaped. Wa was home, or at least the place where her story had begun. She walked up to the man, her voice trembling, but steady enough to carry her hope. Please, uncle, I want to go to Wa. I'm looking for my family. Can you please take me? The man frowned at first. She begged and promised she would manage the fare in 2 days. True to her word, she returned with her small pile of coins, and he kept to his promise. The journey was long. She didn't know if she was chasing a memory or a ghost. When they arrived at the Wa station, it was already dark. Ya stepped out of the car with nothing but her cloth bag and a surname she wasn't even sure belonged to her father. She couldn't remember his name, just a fragment that slipped like sand through her hands. That night, she slept on the street of Wa, curled up against the chill. In the morning, she began asking drivers and the traders if they knew the house of Auntie Amma. For hours, she was met with blank stares and shrugged shoulders. Her hope dimmed with each unanswered question. Until finally, an older driver paused, studying her small face, and said, I remember the family. He gave her directions. And that afternoon, dusty and tired, Ya stood before the family compound she had once left behind. For the first time in years, she was back in Wa. But as she will soon learn, returning home didn't mean belonging there. That's the end of this chapter. Ya's journey still continues. Chapter 4 coming soon, and it's titled The Night of Shadows. Thank you.